Today we are going to learn about a very important topic in physics, in optics especially, and that is Newton rings. Now, Newton rings what are Newton rings actually? Newton rings are a kind of interference fringes. Now, as you know, when two light beams coming from a single source, that means two coherent rays, they interfere together, they produce a interference fringes. So they have to be coherent. That is, the phase relations should remain constant with time. Otherwise, we will not see interference fringes. So what happens in interference? A very unique phenomenon. And what is the phenomena? That the energy gets redistributed. That means from the dark side, the energy goes on to the bright side. So there is a redistribution of energy. That is actually interference. Now, let me explain to you that in Newton rings, what is the setup? Here we have a source and we use sodium vapor lamp, that is sodium light, which is yellow light. Sodium light is considered as monochromatic because it has two wavelengths very close to each other, 589.3 and 589.6. Then there is a lens. The source is kept at the focal point of the lens and you get a parallel beam of light. That light gets reflected by a glass plate which is kept at 45-degree angle. This reflected light, it falls onto a lens which we call a plano-convex lens of this shape. When it falls onto the plano-convex lens, a part of the light gets reflected from the lower surface of the lens. A part gets transmitted, that which is transmitted gets reflected from the upper surface of a glass plate on which this particular lens is resting. Now those two rays, they interfere together, and when they interfere, you can see it through a naked eye, also using a microscope. Here you see those interference fringes, the dark and bright fringes. But there is one very uniqueness. In Newton rings, the central fringe is dark. In Young's double slit experiment, we know the central fringe was bright. Though as you see, in the central fringe the path difference is 0, but still the central fringe is dark. Now that is what we have to understand, that why the central fringe in Newton rings is dark. Let us see this. Let us understand that why the central fringe is dark and the condition, why the condition of maxima and minima gets reversed in case of Newton rings. Suppose we have two strings connected to each other. The first part of the string, as you see, mu1, this is mass per unit length mu1, mass per unit length mu2. If mu1 is less than mu2 and a particular wave is generated and it is moving forward, at the juncture, boundary, a part of the wave gets transmitted, a part gets reflected. The reflected wave undergoes a phase change of pi. That is what as you see. If it is other way around, that is mu1, mu2, mu1 is greater than mu2, then the reflected wave will not undergo a phase change of pi. Now exactly the same way we see this phenomena in optics. In optics what happens? Suppose there are two media, N1 and N2, and a ray of light is coming and falling onto the interface. So obviously a part of the light will get reflected and a part will get transmitted. If N1 and N2, if N1 is greater than N2, if N1 is greater than N2, just like this, there is no phase change. Okay. But if M1 is less than N2, if N1 is less than N2, then the reflected ray, this is the reflected ray in little bit of red color. The reflected ray will undergo a phase change of pi or a path difference of lambda by 2. So this is a very, very important phenomena that we see, and because of that the condition of maxima and minima gets reversed. Now we will see in detail now the diagram and also how we get that condition. Okay, the two rays, let us see the two rays in a very clearly expanded view. This is the parallel beam of light getting reflected from the lower surface of the plano-convex lens. This ray is mentioned as 1, that is your ray ABE. A part of the ray, after undergoing refraction, it gets reflected from the upper surface of the glass plate. Now this particular ray is your ray 2, that means A, B, C and E, ray 2. Okay. Now in between there is a thin film. So basically here the interference, we are getting the interference because of a thin film, because one of the ray undergoes, it has to travel an extra path in a thin film, and it is because of this thin film we are getting the interference. Otherwise, if it is the distance is too much, we will not see the interference fringes. It has to be of the order of wavelength of light. So this particular is a thin film, air film. Here it is air film. Now it can have any other material as a liquid or something. Okay. Now what is the extra path travelled by the ray 2? The extra path travelled by the ray 2, if we approximate as t, suppose say this is t and this is t, and it undergoes a from the normal, basically little bit of because of refraction, that is the angle cos alpha. So the extra path it travels is 2 mu t cos alpha. Alright, 2 mu t cos alpha. That is the extra path it travels. That is the angle of refraction. 2 mu t, because this is not the geometrical path, this is the optical path. So it has to be multiplied by the refractive index of this film. So 2 mu t cos alpha. Now, if this path difference, what we have studied is, if this path difference is equal to n lambda, that is what we know, that is multiples of lambda, then we get a maxima. If the path difference is equal to n lambda, we get a maxima. That is what we have learned in the case of interference. So let us see what is the path difference. This cos alpha, we take it as a 1, very small angle. So it is 2 mu t. The path difference, extra path travelled by the ray 2 is 2 mu t. Plus, now what happens, this particular ray 2 is getting reflected when it is travelling from lower refractive index to higher refractive index. Because of that, it undergoes a phase change of pi. And phase change of pi means path difference of lambda by 2. So 2 mu t plus lambda by 2 is equal to n lambda. So one can write 2 mu t is 2n plus 1 or minus 1 lambda by 2. So this is the condition of maxima. So as you see, the condition of maxima gets reversed. Earlier it was 2 mu t n lambda, but now it is 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Similarly, if you do it for the minima, it becomes 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. That becomes the condition of minima. Usually we measure the minima, that's why this particular equation is more popular. So the condition of maxima and minima gets reversed. And why it gets reversed? Because this particular second ray, which is travelling from a lower refractive index to a higher refractive index, undergoes a phase change of pi, or a path difference of lambda by 2. Now, let us see, the formula for the diameter of the rings with the wavelength. How we can calculate the wavelength from the diameter by measuring the diameter of the rings. So here what we do basically, that as you see the same diagram, this is the thickness of the film where that particular particular ring is there. So at that point the thickness of the ring. So here you have a particular ring of certain diameter and corresponding thickness of the thin film. Now it is difficult to measure this. So I want to eliminate this from the equation. So what I do, this is T is equal to R, that is radius of curvature, minus this distance. Now how much is this? This is R square minus small r square root over. So T is equal to R minus R square root over. So if I take R square common, so it becomes R minus R, 1 minus R square by R square to the power of half. Using a binomial expansion, I can write like this, and finally Tn becomes Rn square by 2R by some approximation. As you see, I can express, now I have expressed the thickness in terms of the radius of curvature and also the radius of the ring. Rn is the radius of the nth ring. Okay. So now again we come back to the condition of minima, that is 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. Tn I replace from here, Rn square by 2R is equal to n lambda. Radius I can write in terms of diameter. So d by 2 is the radius. So it becomes dn square is 4n r lambda by mu. So if I plot a graph between dn square and n, the slope, from the slope one can calculate the value of lambda. Now this particular r, how to calculate that r, because radius of curvature is not known, but the focal length is known. So 1 over f of the lens is equal to mu g minus 1, that is the refractive index of the glass of the lens, multiplied by 1 over r, that is the radius of curvature, r is the of the curved side, curvature side, minus 1 over rp of the planar side. So this is basically infinity. So one can calculate the value of 1 over r given the focal length of the lens. So one can calculate the value of lambda from this particular slope. Now how to measure it? We will show you something, the experimental details. But here, as you can see, just by seeing this diagram, these yellow lines are basically the dark lines, and in between is the white region. So dark and bright regions. Now, first of all, one has to focus the crosswire in the dark fringe, and then go to the extreme left, to which the diameter of which I am interested in. Suppose I am interested in the fourth ring, first, second, third, fourth. So focus your crosswire over here, measure this distance using your telescope and the arrangement that we see in the lab, your traveling microscope, and again you bring back your crosswire to the extreme left onto the same ring. So again you measure this point. The difference of that will give you the diameter of the fourth ring. So that is how you can measure the diameter of 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 12th, like that, and you can plot the graph. So this is all about Newton rings. So the most important fact that we need to remember is the Newton rings, the central fringe is dark, the condition of maxima minima gets reversed. Why it gets reversed? Because one of the ray undergoes a phase change of pi because it is traveling from air to denser medium glass. Now, one can change the whole situation, if one changes this instead of air, if somebody puts some liquid whose refractive index is different, then the condition will change again. So that is how one can calculate the value of refractive index as well. So this is all about the importance of Newton rings. Thank you.